Welcome to Earthenkind Quests. My name is Mike, and this video shares about a battle of a Circle of the Land Druid versus a Pact of the Blade Fiend Warlock. The two characters meet at level 8, using the rules in the 2024 Player's Handbook of Dungeons & Dragons. In this scenario, the Druid becomes responsible for transporting a prisoner, and then the Warlock attempts to rescue the prisoner. This context could influence the character decisions different from the usual expectation of a 1 versus 1 duel. In the video text description, you can see the web links for the level 8 character sheets in D&D Beyond. You will notice that the characters are not necessarily optimal as combatants. They represent the kinds of characters that I might expect in a campaign starting at level 1 and then making choices up through level 8. Part of the purpose here is to experiment and explore with different characters and situations. The Forest Gnome Circle of the Land Druid is named Jaorn Taran. During most battles, he would prefer as soon as possible to cast Entangle, Spike Growth, or another spell that can control the battlefield. His damage-dealing spells include Moonbeam, Lightning Bolt, Call Lightning, and others. The Druid can adapt with most situations, yet he is weakest when defending against weapons damage. The Infernal Tiefling, Fiend Patron Warlock, is named Belade Burns. With her Pact of the Blade, she can deliver substantial damage during melee combat. However, a low armor class makes her exposed to damage in these situations. For these reasons, she prefers first to prepare spells to boost her defenses, to control her targeted opponent, or to affect the battlefield environment. Leading up to this point, the Circle of the Land Druid Jaorn Taran was wandering through the wilderness, fulfilling his role as the protector of life in these lands. Frightened animals informed the Druid about a series of fireballs exploding along a path that leads through the forest. The Druid rushed to investigate. The fireballs could harm the forest and the wildlife. Moreover, Jaorn Taran heard a rumor about how the infamous draconic sorcerer Sebastian Drake has resurfaced and has started to cause trouble again. The Druid suspects a correlation between the fireballs and the sorcerer. Today, the Druid approaches one of the areas along the forest path where the animals had noticed the fireball explosions. The Land Druid sees his former adventuring companion, the Eldritch Knight fighter Eldritch, standing near the unconscious bodies of an ogre and the draconic sorcerer Sebastian Drake. The Eldritch Knight, Eldritch, shares that she suffered through 2 fireballs and several other attacks, narrowly defeating her 2 opponents. She is unsure about what to do next toward learning what the sorcerer may have been planning. The 2 adventurers heard the same rumor about how the sorcerer appeared at the Spellsword Academy, lost in a duel against 2 students there, and then ran away. So far, though, they have not been able to prove or disprove about this rumor. The Land Druid and the Eldritch Knight remember when they helped each other as part of a team of adventurers, fighting against the sorcerer and other powerful enforcers of a fire-breathing red dragon. After battling against those enforcers, the heroes defeated the dragon, and then the sorcerer and the other enforcers were not seen again, until now. Unknown to the Druid and the Eldritch Knight, another of the former enforcers of the Red Dragon happens to be nearby. The Pact of the Blade, Fiend Patron Warlock, Belade Burns, has been searching for her ally, the draconic sorcerer, Sebastian Drake. She learned that the sorcerer was defeated at the Spellsword Academy and then began a journey of running away. At a distance, the Warlock notices the Land Druid and the Eldritch Knight standing beside the unconscious bodies of an ogre and the sorcerer. While trying to remain hidden among the forest cover, the Warlock Belade Burns rolls for a stealth check, adding her Fiend Patron's bonus of the Dark One's luck. A result of 24 is more than sufficient to hide for now, given the passive perception of 15 for the Druid and 14 for the Eldritch Knight. With her successful stealth check, the Warlock contemplates about her next move. She remembers how she lost in a duel against the Eldritch Knight before the Eldritch Knight, the Land Druid, and other heroes proceeded to defeat the fire-breathing Red Dragon. the Fiend Patron Warlock Belade Burns decides to remain hidden for now, waiting for an opportunity to rescue her ally, the Draconic Sorcerer. The Circle of the Land Druid, Jaorn Taran, attends to the unconscious ogre. The ogre had been defeated with a non-lethal blow by the Eldritch Knight. With a medicine skill check of 18, the druid revives the ogre. The ogre is in no shape to fight right now, yet it is unwilling to cooperate about anything with the druid or the Eldritch Knight, who the ogre perceives as enemies. Moreover, the ogre speaks the language of the giants that the druid and the Eldritch Knight do not comprehend. The land druid Jaorn Taran suggests to bring the revived ogre and the unconscious sorcerer to a nearby small hamlet-sized community, some hours of travel away from here. At this place, an old shrine is empowered with ancient magic that translates all languages and compels everyone to speak only the truth. The druid suggests that the shrine can allow for the ogre and the sorcerer to speak the truth about their actions and their intentions while being treated fairly. The Eldritch Knight agrees. She leads the ogre along the forest path, gaining some distance until the druid can follow slightly later, keeping the ogre and the sorcerer apart from each other. The druid is amused to notice that the Eldritch Knight creates no visible footprints due to her Pass Without Trace spell. Jaorn Taran considers about how he might transport the sorcerer. Before the druid can act, however, the Fiend Patron Warlock, Belade Burns, recognizes her opportunity to attack. If she can defeat the druid, or at least distract the druid, then the warlock may be able to rescue her ally, the unconscious sorcerer. The warlock emerges from her hidden position, and she channels the magic energy of her fiend patron. The Circle of the Land Druid, Jaorn Taran, and the Fiend Patron Warlock Belade Burns roll for initiative. The warlock rolls 14. The druid is surprised, rolling with disadvantage for a result of 2. In round 1, the Fiend Warlock, Belade Burns, uses her otherworldly leap invocation. She casts Jump on herself without using a spell slot. With the extra jump movement, the Warlock moves into melee contact with the druid. Instead of attacking with her Pact of the Blade weapon, the Fiend Warlock casts a spell with her Pact magic. She casts Summon Greater Demon. A hideous demonic creature steps into this world. It uses the statistics of the Barlgura in the 2025 Monster Manual. The demon rolls for its own initiative. With a result of 20, the demon will act first during the next round of the combat. The Fiend Warlock commands the demon to attack the druid. The demon must obey this command during its next turn. The Circle of the Land Druid, Jaorn Taran, is fortunate that the demon cannot yet act in the initiative count. The druid uses his action to upcast the spell Summon Fey with a 4th level spell slot. The Fey Spirit will act immediately after the druid's turn. Jaorn Taran commands to attack the warlock. The druid uses a bonus action with his druidic wild shape to transform himself into an owl. As part of the wild shape feature, the druid gains 8 temporary hit points. In the form of an owl, the druid flies upward 60 feet. The flyby feature of the owl avoids opportunity attacks. The Fey Spirit obeys the command to attack the warlock. It makes 2 Fey Blade attacks. The first attack roll of 27 hits against the warlock's armor class of 13. The stroke brings 10 force damage. The Fiend Warlock uses her reaction to cast Hellish Rebuke without using a spell slot due to her Tiefling lineage spellcasting. The Hellish Rebuke produces 13 fire damage. The Fey Spirit succeeds with the dexterity saving throw, and the damage is reduced by half. The Fiend Warlock rolls a Constitution saving throw to concentrate on the summoned demon. A result of 12 succeeds. The Fey Spirit uses its bonus action of the Fuming feature to gain advantage on its next Fey Blade attack. An attack roll of 24 hits the target. It inflicts 14 points of force damage. Once again, the Warlock rolls a Constitution saving throw to concentrate on the summoned demon. A result of 18 succeeds. At the end of round 1, the Land Druid appears to be in control of the battlefield. The Fiend Warlock, Bellied Burns, is frustrated with herself for choosing to summon the demon instead of attacking the Druid with her Pact the Blade weapon and potentially applying her Eldritch Smite. Nonetheless, she recognizes that she and her summoned demon together could rescue the unconscious sorcerer and then run away. In round 2, the summoned demon acts at the top of the initiative count. The Barlgura type of demon can jump 40 feet, but the Druid in owl form is flying at 60 feet above the ground. In this particular situation, I am allowing for the demon to gather up rocks from the ground and to toss the debris as a thrown weapon attack. The monster's statistics do not include this part. People may disagree about how to interpret. Given the distance involved beyond 30 feet, the attack is with disadvantage. However, a result of 12 still hits against the owl's armor class of 11. I am unsure about how much damage to apply, but I am allowing 2d6 plus 4, resulting in 10 bludgeoning damage. The land druid rolls a constitution saving throw to concentrate on the summoned Fey Spirit. Rolling with advantage due to the Warcaster feat, the druid succeeds. At the end of the demon's turn, the demon attempts to break free from the warlock's control. The demon rolls a charisma saving throw. A result of 1 fails. The Fiend Warlock, Bellied Burns, wants to escape from the Fey Spirit. She uses a bonus action to cast Misty Step without using a spell slot due to her Fey Touched feat. She teleports 30 feet away. In this new position, the Warlock casts the cantrip Eldritch Blast, sending 2 beams of force at the flying owl. The first attack is a natural 1, and it misses the target. The second attack roll of 16 hits against the owl's armor class of 11. The blast produces the maximum 15 points of force damage. The land druid rolls another constitution saving throw to concentrate on the summon Fey spell. With the Warcaster advantage, a result of 20 succeeds. The Warlock uses her movement plus the benefit of the active jump spell to move as far away as she can. The Warlock commands the demon to grab the unconscious sorcerer and run in the opposite direction. The Circle of the Land Druid, Taran, knows that something is different about the Warlock's command to the demon. He rolls an insight skill check. With a result of 22, the Druid ascertains that the demon possibly will not attack him during its next turn. In this case, the Druid risks flying back down to the ground next to the demon. As a bonus action, the Druid ends his wild shape and reverts into his regular form as a forest gnome. As his action, the Druid casts Lightning Bolt toward the Warlock. The bolt generates 29 points of lightning damage. The Warlock succeeds with the dexterity saving throw, reducing the damage by half down to 14. The Warlock rolls a constitution saving throw to concentrate on the summoned demon. A result of 10 is enough to succeed. The land druid commands the Fey Spirit to chase after the Warlock. The Fey Spirit uses its bonus action of a Fey Step to teleport 30 feet, and then it needs to use its dash action to move far enough to enter into melee contact with the Warlock. After using this action, the Fey Spirit cannot attack. At the end of round 2, the Fiend Warlock, Bellied Burns, finds herself unable to gain an upper hand in this battle. She has sustained substantial damage, while her opponent has adapted with every changing situation so far. The land druid, Taran, anticipates that he and his summoned Fey Spirit together can defeat the Warlock within the next round of combat. Meanwhile, though, he is concerned about not yet knowing what the demon could do next. In round 3, the summoned demon obeys the Warlock's command to grab the unconscious sorcerer and run away. When the demon moves, the Druid can attempt an opportunity attack. With the Warcaster feat, the Druid casts Shocking Grasp. An attack roll of 14 misses against the demon's armor class of 15. As a bonus action, the demon leaps away. As its action, the demon dashes as far away as it can. All of the movement is halved while carrying the unconscious sorcerer. At the end of the demon's turn, the demon rolls a charisma saving throw, attempting to end the spell that is controlling it. A result of 10 fails. The Fiend Warlock, Bellied Burns, moves around the summoned Fey Spirit, staying within reach without provoking an opportunity attack. As an action, the Warlock casts the cantrip Eldritch Blast, sending 2 beams of force at the Druid. The attack rolls are with disadvantage, while the Fey Spirit is within 5 feet of the Warlock. The first disadvantaged attack roll is 20 and it hits the Druid. It delivers 15 points of force damage. The Druid rolls a Constitution saving throw with advantage to maintain concentration on the Summon Fey spell. A result of 15 succeeds. The second beam of the Eldritch Blast, again with disadvantage, successfully hits the Druid. It causes 7 points of force damage. One more time, the Druid rolls a Constitution saving throw with advantage to maintain concentration on the Summon Fey spell. A result of 17 succeeds. As a bonus action, the Warlock uses her second pact magic slot to cast Armor of Agathis. She gains 20 temporary hit points. While she retains those temporary hit points, the spell causes 20 cold damage to anyone hitting the Warlock with a melee attack. The Fiend Warlock, Blade Burns, notices that the Druid has been wounded severely. She commands the demon to drop the unconscious sorcerer for now and instead to move back to attack the Druid. The Circle of the Land Druid, Jarn begins his turn with a bonus action to cast Healing Word on himself with a 3rd level spell slot, regaining 16 hit points. The Druid moves 30 feet to gain a different angle of view at the Warlock. Once again, the Druid casts Lightning Bolts, but this time he does not use a spell slot due to his natural recovery feature. The bolt generates 28 points of lightning damage. The Fiend Warlock succeeds with the dexterity saving throw. She suffers only half of the damage, reduced to 14. The Warlock rolls once again for a Constitution saving throw to concentrate on the summoned demon. She adds the 1d10 bonus of her Dark One's luck, and the total result of 12 succeeds. The Warlock's Armor of Agathis still retains 6 of the temporary hit points. The Druid commands the Fey Spirit to attack the Warlock. The Fey Spirit attempts 2 attacks with its Fey Blade. The first attack roll of 26 hits against the Warlock's armor class of 13. The attack produces 15 points of force damage. Due to the Armor of Agathis, the Fey Spirit suffers 20 points of cold damage. At this point, though, the Armor of Agathis no longer is protecting the Warlock. The Warlock rolls another Constitution saving throw to concentrate on the summoned demon. After adding another 1d10 of the Dark One's luck feature, a result of 9 fails. The demon now is free. The demon rolls 1d6. With a result of 6, the demon will stay here for another 6 rounds. It will attack the nearest humanoid creature, and then it will vanish back to its place of origin. The Fey Spirit attempts its second Fey Blade attack against the Warlock. The attack hits. It brings 11 force damage. The Warlock drops to 0 hit points. The Fiend Warlock, Blade Burns, is unconscious. At the end of round 3, the Warlock has been unsuccessful in her approach with this battle. The Druid adjusted along with everything that the Warlock attempted. The demon still is here, and it will continue to pose a threat against the Druid. In round 4, the demon no longer is controlled by the Warlock. It is compelled, however, to attack the nearest humanoid creature. In this situation, I am interpreting that the demon does not regard the unconscious sorcerer as a threat. The demon drops the sorcerer onto the ground and moves toward the Druid. The demon uses its bonus action of a leap and its dash action to move into melee contact with the Druid. The Circle of the Land Druid, Jarn uses his bonus action to start his druidic wild shape. Once again, he transforms into an owl. The owl's flyby feature allows to fly away without provoking an opportunity attack. The owl uses its dash action to fly upward 120 feet. At this point, the Druid knows that he can remain in the wild shape form of an owl while flying outside the range of any attack by the demon. Soon enough, the demon vanishes and goes back to its place of origin. The owl lands down on the ground, and the Druid ends his wild shape. The Circle of the Land Druid, Jarn, has won this Nemesis battle. He moves over to the unconscious sorcerer. He verifies that the sorcerer remains unconscious, yet stable. The Druid searches for the Fiend Warlock, Blade Burns, but somehow the Warlock has vanished from the scene. While drifting in a dreamlike state, The Warlock feels the presence of her Fiend patron. The Fiend scolds the Warlock for failing in her duel against the Druid. The Warlock did not use the most powerful gifts that the Fiend granted to her. The Fiend shows a vision of what could have happened. Knowing that the Druid alone presents only a low level of threat in melee combat, Blade Burns could have started the battle in the same way with her bonus action of the Otherworldly Leap to gain enough movement to enter into melee contact. Next, though, instead of summoning the demon, the Warlock could use her Pact of the Blade to attempt 2 attacks with her longsword, wielding with 2 hands for the maximum damage output. The first attack roll of 27 hits against the Druid's armor class of 15. Using 2 hands, the longsword brings 13 points of slashing damage. After the successful hit with her Blade Pact weapon, the Warlock applies her Eldritch Smite, using one of her Pact magic slots. The Eldritch Smite generates 24 force damage. Furthermore, the Smite knocks the Druid down into the prone condition. The second attack is with advantage against the prone target. A roll of 21 hits the Druid. The attack inflicts 12 slashing damage. The Circle of the Land Druid, Jaron Taran, now retains only 10 of his total 59 hit points. As an action, the Druid casts Cure Wounds on himself, upcast with a 4th level spell slot. He regains 45 hit points. As a bonus action, the Druid enters into a wild shape in the form of an owl. As part of the wild shape, the Druid gains 8 temporary hit points. The owl still is in the prone condition and needs to use half of its movement to stand up. The owl then uses its flyby feature to fly away without provoking opportunity attacks. The owl moves 10 feet backward and 20 feet upward. The Fiend Warlock uses a bonus action to cast Hex without using a spell slot due to her Fey Touched feat. She targets the wild-shaped owl, choosing to impose disadvantage on these strength ability checks. As her action, the Warlock uses her second Pact Magic slot to cast Scorching Ray, automatically upcast as the 4th level version. She sends 5 rays of fire at the owl. The Warlock rolls for 5 attacks. Against the owl's armor class of 11, all 5 of the attacks hit. The combined attacks deliver 10 die 6 fire damage with a disappointing low result of 27, plus 5 die 6 necrotic damage for the Hex with a surprising high result of 22. After absorbing some of the damage with the wild-shaped temporary hit points, the Druid now retains only 18 of his total 59 hit points. The Druid cannot survive another round of this combat, given the Warlock's potential with Eldritch Blast and the extra damage of the Hex spell. In this moment, the Druid cannot cast healing spells on himself until after he can exit his wild shape. Moreover, ending the wild shape would require a bonus action, as well as first landing on the ground to avoid falling damage. In this situation, the Druid decides to use his action in the form of an owl to dash, flying 120 feet away and fleeing the battle. The Druid will continue to flee and to move behind tree cover. If the Warlock could have acted differently as her Fiend patron showed her in this vision, then she could have been successful. The Fiend offers one final opportunity for the Warlock to prove herself worthy of her pact. This opportunity will occur at a nearby hamlet, specifically at an old shrine. If a holy warrior can be defeated there, then the warrior's soul can be captured and delivered to the Fiend. If the Warlock can fulfill this one task, then she will gain even more power. If the Warlock will fail, then she will forfeit her pact with the Fiend, leading to other serious consequences. The Warlock Blade Burns contemplates about how to proceed. Now, after the battle has ended, forest animals appear and speak with the Druid. The animals mention that this location is only one of 2 places where they had seen the fireball explosions. The other area is some distance from here along the forest path. The animals indicate the opposite direction from where the Druid wants to travel for bringing the unconscious sorcerer to the nearby hamlet with the old shrine. After some discussion, the Druid decides that he should continue to his intended destination while the sorcerer remains unconscious. In due course, though, he will learn more about the fireball explosions along the forest path. Perhaps the sorcerer was collaborating with others, such as with the Fiend patron Warlock, Blade Burns. Could other of the former enforcers of the Red Dragon be working together? Could more people have been recruited? The Druid will seek answers soon, starting with bringing the sorcerer to the nearby hamlet, where an old shrine compels everyone to speak only the truth. The land druid convinces a bear to assist with transporting the unconscious sorcerer, at least until the druid can rest and recover one use of his druidic wild shape. Our story will continue in the next episodes of Nemesis Battles. For now, in the comment section, please share your ideas and suggestions about what could have happened differently and what could happen next. As always, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.